What's going on, guys? Don't mind my lips. I have Vaseline on them because they're bleeding really bad because they're dry. But today I'm going to be gutting the interior on the Celica. I was going to do other things outside because the weather is like 60 degrees and it's usually never this nice. But today I'm only going to work on the Celica. I was going to put my tent. Actually, let me show you. So I originally had like my little canvas tarp over here and it blew away. And guess where it is? There it is, all the way in the backyard, and there's my rabbit. So I was gonna do that, but the winds are gonna get to like 70 miles per hour today, really bad. So that's not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna focus on gutting the rear part of the Celica first because I need to get rid of any like loose items or anything for my first road coursing event. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with that and show you what I got to remove. All right, so this is what I'm working with, just a bunch of junk. I'm gonna take the plastics out, remove the rear seat. I'm not gonna remove those rear plastics. I'm probably gonna keep those in, but just kind of the loose stuff over here and the rear seat are my main concern. I don't want to fully gut the interior, but gut it enough to the point where I'm okay with it and it's still kind of functional as an interior. So I'm gonna move all these plastics and let's see what it looks like without stuff. And hopefully I don't find any mice because I did before and I don't know where they went. All right, it's gonna rain like literally any minute now. So actually some time has passed. I did end up fully gutting the rear part of the interior and I'm gonna show you right now what it is that I did. So let me pop the trunk really quick. So this is what we got. I did try vacuuming it as much as possible. It's just kind of dirty, I guess, just from over time and sitting for a while. We don't have rear seat belts anymore. We don't have the rear seat. All the rear part of the interior has been gutted. There is some sound deadening underneath that rear seat, and there's some sound deadening like over here that can eventually be removed with dry ice. I'm not too concerned about it right now. But all the rear part of the interior is actually put back together. Like these panels are put back on. I had to remove them in order to remove the rear seat belts and stuff. But now we're completely empty in the back here. So nothing, just, plastics are bolted in. We got the speakers because I do want to eventually get the radio working. So, yeah. So I actually do want to talk about some things really quick. My hair is like, I'm getting a haircut soon, don't worry. But since I gutted the rear part of the interior, the rear of the car is actually sitting a lot higher than normal and is to be expected. So I mean, those plastics didn't weigh that much, but I guess they weighed enough considering the stock suspension on the car. Now, I don't know how this is going to affect the way the car handles on regular streets. It's okay going over 100 miles per hour on a racetrack, is going to be interesting. So, so we're gonna see what we can do. Right now the alignment is stock, zero camber, maybe a little bit of camber it has just from factory. It's starting to rain. And complete straight toe. It's a factory 1995 Toyota Celica alignment. The only thing I'm worried about is even though it is a front wheel drive car, if I brake really hard, the car, even though it's front wheel drive, since the rear end is really light now in comparison to the front, and the tires aren't the most grippiest thing in the world, they do tend to oversteer, and the rear end will come out around me, and that's an issue because I do have an open front differential, so I really have to feather the throttle, because if I try to open it up, I'll just start to really understeer, and if I let go of that gas pedal, I'll unsettle the suspension, and there's a possibility that the car could just oversteer on me completely. So it's definitely going to be an interesting learning curve to figure out how to drive this car. I could obviously manipulate mechanical components to compensate for certain driving conditions and styles, but for right now, I'm just going to be racing the car as is and see really how it does. But yeah, I just wanted to show you the progress I've made on the Celica. And it's so far so good. I will make a separate video in the future talking about everything that is done to the car and everything that I want to be done to the car. I was driving around like a couple nights ago, and I have a couple clips of me talking about you know, how the Celica came to be and some stuff that I want to do and really what the car is. And I'm gonna put that right after this clip. So yeah, just short little thing, just, you know, I gutting the rear interior, really just getting the car ready for the racetrack. I'm also going to make a video explaining, you know, the races and the events that I'm going to and why I'm going to those versus others. But yeah, for right now, this is good. So this is a Celica. Rear end does sit a lot higher now, but that's okay. We will talk about that on a future date. So see you guys in a bit. What's going on, guys? I'm just driving around my Celica, and I thought I should just make a video. Why not? I don't really know what I'm making the video about, but I'm just driving around the car. And for those of you who are watching and don't know what car I'm driving a 1995 Toyota Celica that one of my friends put a V6 in, and the car is a lot of fun. So the only things that I really did to it are fixed up some odds and ends, made the engine run a little bit better, pretty much just buttoned up all the stuff that my buddy never really got around to with the car. And this was originally his car. He picked this car up for around 200 bucks. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm trying to talk as loud as I can. Since I'm missing some of the interior, you can hear a lot of the road noise, but I'm still gonna try and explain a little bit. So this was my buddy's car. He got it for 200 bucks from some lady out of her backyard, kind of just sitting there, or some dude. I don't even know if it was a dude or a lady. I have no idea. It was just sitting there. Don't really know why it was sitting there, but it didn't run or anything, so they picked it up off him for 200 bucks. And they threw a battery in it, checked the oil, and drove it home. Everything was fine. The motor was fine. Transmission was fine. Clutch was fine. Everything on the car was literally fine. Like, it was a perfect daily driver. Everything on it was good. But one day, my buddy was driving it, and it got a rod knock. And I think the motor was burning oil, so it got too low. And then he took a corner pretty quick, and he kind of starved the pump probably for a second, so the bearings weren't getting lubed, so it got a little bit of a knock. So that being said, as the motor started knocking, he thought it would be a good idea to swap a V6 into the car. He has a V6 swapped Toyota Camry, and you know, I think this was his first time swapping a V6 into a Celica. The process itself wasn't that bad. The motor kind of just bolted right up. The only thing is obviously trying to get the wiring to communicate properly. This car never ever came with the V6 at all. So just getting everything to kind of try and communicate better was pretty much the only, I guess, issue we were having. And it wasn't really an issue, it just took a little longer than the rest. But he swapped the motor in here. I have some footage on the channel of the motor being swapped into the car. And yeah, so I was kind of along for the process, like helping out a little bit and just watching and learning as much as I could. But we finally got it running properly and some stuff dialed on it. But he ended up buying a RSX. I'm not sure on the year, but if I were to say, it would be around the mid-2000s, somewhere around there, like an 04 or something like that, I don't know. And this thing was fully built, like completely fully built K20. Suspension was fully built, the whole car was fully built, and everything on the car was just set up perfectly.
wasn't really, I guess he wanted more of something as a reliable daily. So the Celica wasn't really doing that for him, I suppose. I guess it wasn't what he wanted as like a kind of reliable daily. Or no, actually, I don't know. Maybe he just wanted to like clean up shop on some of the cars that he had. He had a couple of cars. He has a Camry, a Supra. He had the Celica and the RSX at the same time, I believe. I think, at least. I'm not too sure. So I think he just wanted to get rid of some of the cars, and I guess maybe the least favorable one was the Celica, because he already had a V6 swapped car, and he's had Celicas in the past. So I think he just decided to get rid of this one. He gave me first dibs on the car, and he pretty much said, "Here, $2,500 and the car is yours." And to be 100% honest, $2,500 for this car, the way that it's set up and the amount of work that I know went into it, is pretty much a steal. $2,500 for a 1MZ V6 swapped Toyota Celica. You can't even see me. Yeah, I gotta figure out what to do with the lighting, but I'll figure that out next time. A $2,500 car that has a V6 swap in it, especially a Celica, a 6th gen, is a pretty big deal and is worth a lot more than $2,500. So yeah, he bought it for $200, but I don't think the person who sold the car knew exactly what he had. He could probably sell it for more if he got the car running. But yeah, so $2,500. I pretty much stole the car, and yeah. So then he went out and bought that RSX, and now I have the Celica. I don't plan on getting rid of the Celica at all or ever, because I had my original Celica, and I could never finish it due to stupid circumstances of life. So I ended up having to get rid of it. But ironically, a couple months later, he called me. He's like, "Hey, I'm selling the Celica. Do you want it?" I'm like, "Sure." So I took it, and now the car is mine. I went over a bunch of things on the suspension. I got in an accident with it once. We had to get that out of the way. Of course, I was driving in the snow, and I went to go stop, and I have summer tires on the car, so I wasn't stopping at any speed. No matter how much I tried to slow down, I couldn't stop, and I slid into a ditch, and I had to get dragged out. But the damage wasn't bad at all. I just had to replace the control arm and the strut, which I was probably going to do at some point anyway. Eventually, I would like this car to have fully gone over suspension, like everything replaced. I don't know if the sway bars are really doing much. The end links are a little worn, and there's a lot of there's no play in the suspension, but the rubber bushings are deteriorating just because it's an older car, and that's just how it is. You're not going to be able to fix that, but that's just how it is. Only problem I really have with it right now is not really anything. I mean, the steering rack is leaking, but it's not really a concern of mine. I don't mind the manual steering, and it does give you a little bit more power, which I'm definitely okay with. This car, actually, I'm not gonna lie, it only probably makes like 180. This car probably only makes around, I don't even know, I don't know, maybe around 200, like low 200, probably like 190s around there, and like horsepower. So like it's pretty damn quick, but where was I going with this? Oh, it's actually quite a bit of power for the car, like almost at the point where if it had another like 20 to 30 horsepower, it would be way too, I feel like just for the type of car that this should be for me, I feel like it would be a little bit too much horsepower. 200 horsepower for this chassis, just stock, just just how the car is right now is just enough. Like, it doesn't need any more power at all. You know, if I really hammered it in third, you know, after banging second gear, I would still probably be spinning tires. You know, I only think this has a 205 on it, and yeah, they're grippy tires for a 205, but they're really skinny. Something I noticed on this car is an LSD would be phenomenal. Like, I would be able to utilize both the front tires around corners. I notice I don't have, like, I have barely any weight in towards the back of this car. This car is 100% mid to front bias when it comes to weight. So it's very fast and straight line, but I can tell that these front tires are really fighting for traction. I don't have a performance alignment on the car or anything like that, but I can really tell that the tires are fighting for traction. In a straight line, once I get up to speed, I'll be okay, but off a launch, which I'm not really too concerned with for posi, I'm more talking about corners. When I take tighter corners, I really, really, really have to be light on the throttle, because just a little bit too much throttle opens up that power band and just spins that inside tire, you know, as fast. Even if I'm taking a turn wide at a higher speed, I can still feel the front end of the car start to shift over, because I'm just losing that grip on the tire that's not just biting into the ground. The tire that's spinning because of the open differential is really the one getting all of the weight and the movement from the car. So a limited slip would be amazing. I think this car with the limited slip would just absolutely change the game. It would just handle, I believe it would just handle so well, and it would just be great. You know, that's probably one of the first things performance-wise I'm going to get for this car. Definitely a limited slip is going to be one of the first things performance I get for this car. Absolutely, 110%, because I feel like that would just really make this car shine, is being able to put all that 200 horsepower down into just a small chassis like this. It's a lot of horsepower. It is almost to the point where I can't handle any more power without feeling unstable or unsettling to the chassis. But it's perfect. The car is actually, I think the car, even though it doesn't have power steering because the rack was leaking, I will fix it at one point after the racing season, probably in the winter time. But for right now, it's great. The car is really dialed. You know, OEM suspension doesn't have crazy amount of adjustability, but it's just the right amount of stiff with the lowering springs and soft with the OEM style shocks that it just feels good. Whoa, that's ice. That is a lot of ice. Holy crap. They need to go over that road. Someone could literally get killed because I just slid. But yeah, so it's just, what was I saying? Yeah. Fuck. What the fuck was I just saying? I was just saying something. I don't even remember what I was saying. Son of a bitch. I don't remember what I was saying. I don't know. But, the OEM suspension. The car with OEM suspension feels dialed. I don't want to do... I drive this car a lot as a daily. I don't want this... I literally do not want this car to be strictly race car. I thought I did, but then I just remembered how awful my Mustang is when I tried putting stiffer suspension in it, even though I should have just left it alone. It is atrocious where I live. The roads are absolutely atrocious. It amazes me that we even have roads that are this bad. If I lived in Florida or California where the roads were good, you know, I'd have coilovers and stiff suspension all day because it wouldn't bother me. But here, the roads are just terrible. You turn a corner and can't put coilovers on this car. I just can't. I'll do like newer lowering springs and maybe stiffer shocks, but coilovers are really just out of the question. I just don't want them. It's just not, it makes the car so unenjoyable to drive on these roads. It's just not fun. It's not like it makes the car handle any better on these roads either, because you just go over so many bumps that you don't even, it's just not fun. It just doesn't feel good. Your teeth are breaking. The car just feels like it's breaking. And yeah, it's not good. So I'm going to stick with OEM suspension, because new OEM suspension is better than aftermarket. No, that's not what I was going to say. New OEM suspension is better than old OEM suspension, I guess. Which, well, obviously it is. So I will replace every single suspension component with some type of OEM component, just to get the car feeling dialed as is. The only thing I'm not going to do OEM are, they don't make a lot of aftermarket parts for these cars, only really the GT4s, which are Japanese exclusives. They don't come out on American consoles. So, yeah, so I'm only really going to change I'll probably do aftermarket sway bars, and I might do stiffer struts in springs. I will not do coilovers. I won't do any type of adjustable control arms. I won't do any Heim joints. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm just going to do what works and what's good. And, keeping the car functional, take it to the track on the weekend, and then drive it as a daily to the beach on Sunday. So that's really all I'm going to do. One day, I do want a fully built race car, and I want a 2000 to 2005 Celica to be that car. I don't know if I want the GT or the GTS. That doesn't really matter to me personally, but that will be my fully built race car one day, where the whole interior is done in coilovers, every aftermarket suspension component I can get my hands on will be on that car. But for right now, I want this car to be more of a weekend warrior style. Drive it, enjoy it, not just race it all the time, and take it to some car meets, maybe do autocrossing with it, maybe even go on some fucking rallycross dirt roads with it. I don't even know, just have fun with it, enjoy it for what it is, and I mean, that's that really. I have to go get gas, so I should probably turn around and go do that. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's going on here with this car. I like it. I like the car. It's good. I actually really like the car. It's just perfect. The way that it's set up, it's perfect. It just needs a little bit of attention in some areas. Like I said, the limited slip, and probably some stiffer motor mounts. I might just fill up my motor mounts with polyurethane just to stiffen it up a little bit. It might get me to shift a little crisper, and something to stiffen up this shift knob, maybe like a short shifter kit or something. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty perfect. I couldn't have asked for more. I think my first racing event will be April 3rd. Is it Palmer Motorsports Park? I believe. I don't know. It was either Palmer or Thompson. I don't know. Maybe it's not Palmer. I don't know how far away Palmer is. I completely forgot. But it might have been Thompson, April 3rd. I don't know. I have to remember, but my first ever event will be road course racing. I'm probably going to be put with an instructor for a hot minute. For the first couple rounds, I'm probably going to be put with an instructor. I don't know, for the first course or whatever I do. And then hopefully I'll get comfortable with the car, and I'll just be able to hot lap the car all by myself. does need things like, actually, does it need a temperature gauge? I don't know. I haven't had an issue with my temperature gauge. It has a minor fume. And when I say fume, I mean a fume leak. Now, I don't even want to say a gas leak. It only happens when I fill up the tank. It just, I guess, maybe out of the overflow or inside the tank, or just out of the fill tube on the actual tank itself, or going down the filler neck. You can smell the gas, and I noticed it was damp but not leaking, like profusely or anything. So that's something I need to fix. So I'm not going to go to my first event on a full tank. I'm probably going to go at like less, maybe around half a tank or less than half. And in between sessions, if I need to get gas, I'll get gas. Hopefully I'm ready. I have a list next to me of all the stuff that I wanted to do with the car before the event, and I'm almost done. I just need a helmet for myself. I'm gonna go get my head fitted for a helmet because I don't know what size, probably like a large or an extra large. I don't know how helmet sizes work. I don't know if it's like a number or something that I have to go based off of, but I have to go find a DOT certified helmet. Some of the stuff was like, make sure your fluid levels are good, make sure your battery's secured, seat belts, no loose suspension components, stuff like that. And obviously I checked, I put my car up on a lift and I checked it out, and so far so good. I think all I have left to do are like general maintenance items. I want to bulb check the car before I take it to the event, so probably a week before I'm gonna do an oil change, check the pads, rotate my tires, figure out how I want to set up my tire pressures for the event. I'll probably study the track a bit more. I've been watching videos on YouTube of people driving the track and where the turns are. I don't want to go in completely fucking blind, so I've been watching a couple people learn the track, and I'm trying to find where the apexes are, and where's good stopping points, the different meanings of different signals and different flags, and what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do, just so I don't go in there like a complete idiot. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. I have to register still. There are spots still available, so I'm not in a rush. I'm really just trying to make sure that everything is going good with the car. And hopefully maybe before the first event, I think, one of the things I have to do, or I'm not have to do, I don't have to, but I kind of want to. I do want to do, like, maybe I want to fill up some of my motor mounts with some heavy duty polyurethane. Or maybe I don't. Maybe I want to leave them alone. But I could get aftermarket engine mounts in the future. Wow, I went through water. My tires are just like spin. That's how much like I don't have any grip at all. It's pretty nuts. Like I literally don't have any grip whatsoever. But yeah, so I don't know. That's crazy. So, whoa, that's a tree in the middle of the road. Holy crap. Yeah, we had a storm the other day. Winds were like literally 60 to 70 miles an hour. Pretty freaking nuts. So there is still debris in the road that they did not clean up. That was crazy because it's dark out and the lights over here aren't strong at all, so nobody can really see that. Somebody's going to run right through that soon. I can already see it. But yeah, so that my first event is going to be April 3rd at like Thompson or Palmer, I think. I was going to go to Lime Rock, and then I realized it was 2.5 hours away. So I'm like, screw that. I can't make it there. There's no way in hell I can make it 2.5 hours. Because if I blow up, I'm not paying for a 2.5 hour tow to get back. Hell no. I'll do an hour because I know back roads and I know I can get flat towed back. So that's fine. I don't care if I blow up. I just, I don't care about that. I just want to make sure that I'll get to the event, and I hope I don't blow up my first event. If I blow up my first event, I will literally just like cry. I will probably just crawl up in a ball and cry. No, I won't actually crawl up in a ball and cry, but I will probably be pretty upset. I will put a new motor in it like literally the same week, so I can go racing the next week. But like I just think that yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna go get gas and stuff. I don't really have much left to talk about. For some reason, I don't know why, I just felt like making a little video. I know it was dark the whole time and you can't see me like literally at all. Maybe next video, if anyone wants to comment, I'll make like a mount or something so you can see me better, or maybe I'll do like a daytime driving video. I don't know, I like driving at night, so we're gonna have to see. So yeah, appreciate everybody. Thank you for watching.